Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. TGIF, welcome to this very, very cold Friday edition of the Bullhorn Betty channel.
Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Thank you so much, Melanie, for that super chat. Our prayer warriors are in the house.
I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration.
That's very interesting, JR. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. We will be running that story here in just a little bit.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, 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 today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the
Thank you to our beautiful Lesson 66. Our prayer warriors are in the chat. chat. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and we've got the lineup for you today, guys. I know you guys have been hearing about this poor 15-year-old boy that has been missing from New York City right now. His name is Thomas Medlin. His parents believe he was lured by somebody he met on a gaming platform with 83 million daily active users. This is Tom Medlin's story. And this story is how big tech systematically fails to protect children from predators. Or is it? Because I'm finding out some new information this morning that's not going to sit very well with you guys, okay? So come on in. I know it's really cold outside. If you guys have a cup of coffee, I see Mr. Glenn is up here on his 18th millionth cup of coffee. He's one like me. He just needs a IV line of caffeine directly in the veins. He's the caffeine dealer in the dais. I'm just letting you know. I look over, got some caffeine. He got some coffee. You got some coffee over there. Do you got some coffee over there? Does anybody have any blessed coffee around here? No. I'm just joking. I actually bring a silicone cup just in case. You know, when you're sitting in those meetings for hours, you need caffeine, okay? They're snooze fest, okay? How we stay awake in those meetings, I have no clue. But this is my beautifully new cup. See? This is just in case you guys are wondering what my pronouns are. My pronouns are officially American Patriot. So if you guys need to know my pronouns, there you go. I'm an American Patriot. Yeah. So this is a serious story coming out of New York. As many of you guys know, his parents are absolutely devastated. But while you're listening to this podcast, there's going to be, 80 plus lawsuits pending against this single gaming company. 30 people have been arrested, folks. Okay. This is not a good gaming system. If you are not an adult and you have children, okay, let me just throw this out here for you folks. Okay. If you got children, keep them off this gaming platform. Unless you tie down their social media. And you can't, right? You can't, especially kids that are 15. It gets a little more difficult. Before we dive in too much, Melanie, I want to say good morning to you. Denise, good morning. It's nice to see you. Thank you all for the super chats. We really do appreciate them. From our prayer warriors, Linda, JR, letting us know that Daniel Martel was arrested for domestic violence. I've got it on the list. We're going to be segueing from Thomas Medlin's case, and we'll cross over and give you guys updates for Daniel Martel and get that going. And then we'll go over to our regular show, because obviously if there's breaking news, we're going to run with breaking news. I did not see that. My apologies. So we'll roll through this, but this is why it's so important for the coffee club and the people that are in it, because you guys do provide those breaking news stories while we're live, and we can segue over there. So Lisa B, always, it's nice to see you. Melanie, it's nice to see you. Let Them 66 again, Melanie, and Let Them 66. We really appreciate your contributions, and we appreciate your love and support for this channel, and truly mean that. Vicky, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful mod, Sonia's in the house. If you guys see these beautiful ladies with the blue on their name, they're our mods. So if you ever have any questions, please reach out to them. I'm always available at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. If I ever say anything that contradicts something that you know to be true, please send that over to me immediately. Again, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We strive to make sure that the information that we cover here is true and accurate to the best of our ability, but sometimes we do get it wrong, and we do like to hear from you. So it kind of fixes two things, right? We get to hear from you, and we get to make sure that we are accurate, true, and correct. Mama, it's nice to see you. Vicky, Glenn, it's nice to have you this wonderful morning. I know your butt is probably freezing as well as mine. Phil, it's nice to see you. Good morning from across the pond. If you don't know, Phil visits with us every day from Ireland. So it's always nice to have folks. If you're from out of the country, please let us know that you're out of the country. We love to see how far this channel does go, and we appreciate all of our viewers. But it's nice to see you. Sunny days, Cheyenne. Good morning. It's nice to see you, Army Vet. It's a good girl, Army Vet. Big hugs and loves to you. Big hugs and loves to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying warm. I hope you all are staying. I hope you're all staying warm and below zero temperatures out there, okay? If you don't know how to stay warm, just layer and fire. Just don't be near the fire with all those layers, okay? We don't need a Christmas tree going up in flames, or you. Just say, or you. So, again, we're getting back to this young boy, and I'm going to go ahead and play Pascal. Pascal kind of gives us a little rundown. It's a great opportunity for us to incorporate another true crime content creator. If you guys know, I have a high regard for Pascal. Pascal and I don't always agree on everything, right? We're not 100 for each other. I'm sure he probably thinks I'm a little wild, right? Because I'm a little wild. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I own it, right? I own it, okay? So I know we're a little wild. We're a little, at times rough around the edges, very pointed, very direct, very brash, very abrasive at times. But we do it for the love of these cases and holding our own out here and trying to decipher what happened. Now, we're going to be going through this Tom Medlin case, and it does look like there's a predatory nature to this. I don't believe that's the case. I think we're dealing with a self-harm here. And you're going to understand by the next article that I'm going to be reading why I believe that this is another self-harm. Now, the reason why we say this is we just had this 18-year-old or 19-year-old girl that walked away from her home, left her phone on her bed, and, people were very concerned. It was an abduction, right? And there was something about the phone being left on the bed that really kind of, spoke to us in say, hey, Michelle, it's nice to see you, but spoke to us, in some type of way, because it's not normal for an 18-year-old to walk off without her phone, okay, especially to exercise. I've exercised many times. I know I probably need to, especially coming off an eggnog addiction. I probably need to put some more activity in my daily lifestyle, okay, I get it. Hey, Cinderella, Peggy, it's nice to see you. Good morning, ladies. Come on in, grab yourself a hot beverage and get yourself warm. Hopefully you guys are under covers. Hopefully. I'm not. I'm in a flannel, but it's because I have to entertain all you. If I don't, I start getting the calls and the emails now. But there was something about it. And, when we were saying this, I kept saying, there might be this other element to it, because I don't like her, it just seemed like she could have potentially wandered off on her own, and I had said, if she did wander off, and then when they started talking a little bit about self-harm or some depression, I'm like, oh crap. And then when we heard that, I said, well, if she did walk off to hurt herself, she's going to be right there. She's going to be within a half mile of that house. And certainly that's exactly where she was. So, once we have an idea of where we're going with things, we can figure it out. This one is a little weird because he left the area. It sounds like got on a bus and went out of the area that he was in, more into Manhattan, and crawling over coming over a bridge and stuff. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, so let me go ahead and play this from Pascal, and then we will further discuss. So I'm just going to take a few moments from Pascal.
About this, guys. This is absolutely insane, and a lot of people are starting to talk about this. I'm just catching wind of this whole story. There's a missing teen by the name of Thomas Medlin. He is 15 years young. Okay.
And I will tell you guys this, this is not the first time I heard about this case, okay? I've been monitoring this case. As many of you know, I do not immediately jump in on teenage kids' cases. It's just a policy that I have here for this channel. Some people don't like that policy for this channel. I'm not changing that policy for this channel, okay? I'm not going to do it. I do that for a reason, and it's because we have such a large amount of teenagers that run away from home, okay? And unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. And because of that, we cannot consume this show by a bunch of runaway teenagers. We try to help as much as we can, but we're looking for cases that really defy logic. okay, not runaway children. So while we do try to help, and we will throw a missing child up, a runaway child up on this channel, it is not this channel's makeup. Okay, that's not what this channel is designed to do. So I wait a few days. I make sure that a case defies logic before I start jumping into it, because I don't want to be taking our channel down a whole bunch of where we've got a lot of missing children that run away because they're mad at mommy and daddy. They're perfectly fine, and now they're taking resources away from children that aren't perfectly fine. So I realize that it's not a popular, but there's got to be some metric for this channel. Otherwise, we would just be flying blindly and just taking any case in every case. And that's not what this channel does. This channel finds very specific cases that meets a very specific criteria that we run on this very specific show, okay, when it comes to our true crime. This right here is not rising to that level, which is why we did not jump into it. But now that there's a little more information available for me to advise, because I know when we do have missing children, my audience gives a crap, okay? My audience cares about all children, okay? Whether they're runaway children or whether they've met with foul play. My audience wants to bring every child home. I love you guys because of that. And you guys should give yourself a hand for that. We are very fortunate that we have a lot of people in this family, in the Coffee Club family, that whether we agree politically or otherwise, and trust me, to be on this show and not agree with me politically, that even shows you how much more committed you are to these children, in all fairness. Because when I get a little rough around the edges politically, I'm pretty disrespectful, and there's no other words for it. I own it, right? I'm very, very, very brash when I have a stick up my butt politically. And so the people that still come around here for the true crime stuff, you guys are troopers, period. That's even shows you you're a better person than me, right? Because I wouldn't do it. So you come here for the true love of these cases and these children and to do better, and you always rise much further above. We always say be a Betty, but when you do stuff like that, you should be you, because you're better than a Betty. You're better than a Betty, and we want to make sure that you know that. All right, guys. So getting back to this case, I know when you start hearing me talk like that, you realize that there are some things going on. So let's get back to Pascal, and we'll get moving on with this and further discuss Betty, you're spicy. We do have a somebody in the chat that's named Spicy Disaster, and I always. Army vet, I always sit there and think, maybe that should have been my name instead of Bullhorn Betty. Just saying. It's funny you say that. So we love you, Spicy Disaster, even though you're not here this morning. We're calling you out. It's not disrespectful. It's free speech. I get it. And I've been having to argue with some of the people out in Mayaca City because they were, I filed a report against the board. Well, I didn't file an official report. I gave them a strong, I pulled a Pam Bondi and I gave them a strongly worded letter. I need to leave that lady alone. I do not like Pam Bondi. Okay. Sorry. I just don't. She's just not my chick. She's not my chick. I try to support her for the love of Trump. That's it. See Splanenberg, it's nice to see you. We still splaining. We're gonna be still splaining for a long time. Mama, I think Faye, it's nice to see you. Good morning, love. I hope you guys are doing well. And if I missed anybody in the chat, I truly am sorry. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and obviously we're covering this case. This is we're moving over to Pascal to give us an update on this, and then we're going to further update you guys with what I believe is a self-harming situation.
Okay, just a young teen that allegedly went from his place in Long Island and went into New York City to allegedly meet let's just put in very, very loose quotations, a friend that he allegedly met through Roblox. Now, we have a statement from Roblox. We are going to be looking at that here in a second, but we need to get some more facts here because this young man has been missing for a couple weeks now. It's been well over 2 weeks now since this young man has been missing, and we have got to bring awareness to this because, of course, it's a young teen. No one knows where he is. He just packed up his stuff, went to school, and right from school, he hopped on a train from Long Island to New York City to meet up with God knows who.
So we're going to stop it right there because I think that has been the best way to explain this story so far, okay? So that's where we're going to be right now here in this story. Hey, Unicorn, it's nice to see you, Lovebug. I hope you're doing well this very cold Friday morning. Oh, thank you, Shining Star. Oh, we appreciate the love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So anyways, folks, this is kind of where it gets dicey, okay? He went to school. It's starting to make me feel he had problems at school because he left from school and got on a bus and left. Now, I know you guys are going to say, Betty. Now we're going to have to go over to the People's article because the People's article kind of, unfortunately, put this into a much clearer perspective, okay? And first and foremost, I want to just say this boy is precious, okay? Nobody deserves to feel like there's no hope, okay? If you are struggling with depression or any type of something that makes you not feel yourself or doubt your worth or make you feel like maybe this life really doesn't matter. And I'm not going to loosely say that I think anybody that ever has these thoughts are, have mental problems. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that that's a wrong thing, a wrong position to apply on people that are just tired of life and stuff like that. I don't think you have to be mentally deranged or anything like that. But when you have younger people, because there's other things that like diagnosis can really, scare somebody, death, not a good prognosis. There's just a lot of things. So I don't want people just to randomly say because somebody's not here that there's got to be something mentally wrong with them. But whenever you have children, the problem with children is their brains are not developed. And when they deal with stresses that they're not able to talk about, which they should be able to talk about, but or don't feel like they're able to talk about or keep it, quiet. For an example here, his family are from a different culture. His family are, you can tell his mom, I don't think they're American citizens. I think they migrated over here. And, just the different lifestyles because Delilah, in their home country, they didn't deal with bullying. They didn't deal with certain things that children here in our country deal with. So maybe they weren't understanding what their son was truly going through, at school or something. And I'm going kind of into this because the information that we found out just in this article was pretty alarming, but it explains why he hasn't been found and why I truly don't believe that this had anything to do with a predator or a stranger danger. And it's just unfortunate. So let's go ahead and get started on this this story here. So as we know, Medlin is 15 years old. A lot of hormones and stuff are going through a body at 15 years old. Excuse me. Sorry, my dog. I don't want to stop her from playing, but it's just so distracting. So I want her to keep playing, but I can't have it going through my microphone. Okay. So he's 15 years old and he traveled into Manhattan. So all of these activities he's doing on his own. His mother previously said she believed he was heading into the city to see someone he met on Roblox. But in an update, police said they didn't find any proof of that. Okay. So they don't have any proof of somebody preying on him. They don't have any proof that he is injured or was, coached or provided any type of CSAM material to anybody over the internet or anything like that. So in their latest updates, police said that they have determined that Thomas's, this is the concerning part here, guys. Okay, you ready? The last update police said is they believe he was last known to be on a pedestrian walkway of the Manhattan Bridge. Okay. And so new footage shows that the missing boy disappeared in the New York City over 2 weeks ago. And his last ping and his last sighting was on this bridge over the river. Okay. In an update Monday, January 26th, Suffolk County Police Department said that part of their ongoing investigation, which includes extensive video canvassing and review of digital evidence, they've determined that he was last seen on that bridge. His phone last pinged on that bridge at 7:06. His last activity on his cell phone was only 3 minutes later. And the nearby surveillance camera captured a splash in the water on January 9th at 7:10. So, as you guys can imagine, this changes the story when it comes to this boy quite a lot. Okay, so it changes things for us. Okay, this is evidence. We can see it, touch it, and we have to use some deductive reasoning. This young boy was on the bridge. He was observed entering the bridge. His phone was disconnected and never last ping on the bridge. And there was an observed splash in the water at the same time. So all of these things happened, almost simultaneously when it came to Thomas Medlin. So it is the belief, and this is where you guys are going to come in, because the one great thing about this channel is we're prayers, right? We believe prayers move mountains. We know that there is not going to be any mountain that this prayer is going to be able to move for the condition of this boy. He's been gone for 2 weeks. We see a splash in the water. At the end of the day, I don't think any child would be able to survive. That's an opinion, obviously not a stated fact. But we have to use some common sense here. So what we need prayers for at this moment is for his family and friends. This has got to be very, very hard for them. The reality of what I'm sure law enforcement has expressed to the family is that he most likely did this to himself, much like the other case that we covered. And it never makes it easy. When we cover these cases, our heart breaks because we feel like if somebody just knew, maybe the outcome could be different. And maybe that is the case. But at the end of the day, let's face it, a lot of our children in our school are assholes, okay? I don't know why we're raising a bunch of assholes, but we're raising a bunch of bullies and assholes. And people standing on their pedestal saying that we need to coexist. So I'm going to say this, while I'm not going to just paint a bad and a horrible brush for parents, and I don't anticipate you guys, I'm hoping that you guys being here and seeing all the atrocities, you raise your children a little different. So this is a call out to all these parents that keep allowing their children to get away with everything. Stop. Hold your children accountable. Quit being their best friend. Because your child is hurting somebody else's child. And if you're too stupid to know that, then maybe you should quit making children. I'm a very blunt and a very brash person, but there's no way a 15-year-old boy would want to unalive himself unless it was some kids in his school being assholes. So whoever parents are at the school, you're raising a bunch of assholes. Stop. Do you know what a whip or a belt is? Use it. Okay? All of this stuff, at the end of the day, folks, you guys can, I don't want to hit, I don't care. Your responsibility is to rear your children. I don't care how you do it, whether it's physical or whether you have some way to do it without busting somebody's ass. Okay? I don't know what your methods are, but start using them. These children running wild, I'm going to tell you, they do not want to see me because I'm one of those women that are in the line and I hear your child being disrespectful. I'm going to tell your child not to be disrespectful, and I'm going to tell you about yourself as a parent. I'm one of those people, okay? You do not want to be in front of me or behind me with a disrespectful child. Okay? I don't need a job. I don't need friends. I don't really care. Right? We're all about transparency and truth. And at the end of the day, I'm seeing a lot of children that think that this is the way out for them. Why would a child need the way out? Because other children are being nasty to them. And that's a parent problem, not a child problem. So maybe it's time for many parents to start unplugging from social media and start taking care of your children. Start talking to your children. Bring your children back to the dining table. Get involved in your child's life. And if your child's being an asshole and being disrespectful to another child or being a bully, you put your foot down, damn it. Because that could affect another child that doesn't have a developed brain, thinking that this is the way life is always going to be and they can't handle it. And now you got kids throwing themselves off bridges. This is a very, very sad situation here that should never have happened. And now you got this poor pain that will never go away because of some spoiled ass children. It's a parent problem. The parents should be charged. You guys know how I feel about it. I think parents need to be more accountable for their children. People may say that's unfair. I don't. You're responsible for your dog. You're responsible for your car. You're responsible for your actions. You're responsible for your offspring. Okay? I'm one of those people that like to lay blame where blame's due. If you have a dog and you train that dog to kill somebody and they kill somebody, you're going to be held accountable for it. But somehow, when you have a child that you train to be an unaliver or a meanie or a bully, you're never held accountable for their behavior. Well, that is changing. That is changing in this society. And I think it's a good change. It's not that I want parents to be thrown in jail. I just want parents to finally realize there's consequences to looking the other way when your child is something is seriously wrong with your child. You know this child. You have a duty. Quit saying, oh, it's just a child being a child. It's just a boy being a boy. It's just a girl being a girl. No, it's not. Okay? If you didn't do it as a child, what makes you think that this is okay? Okay? Do kids do stupid stuff? Yeah. You know why? Because I did stupid stuff. But one thing I was never is mean to other people. Okay? I was brash. I stuck up for myself and I stuck up for a lot of other people. But when I was younger, I wasn't a bully. But I never, ever, ever back down from a bully, even in school, you know? But I don't consider, like, even when we had this one girl, and she, you know, maybe it's something that I didn't know because she might have been autistic. Maybe it was an autistic child. I just didn't know what autism was because I was a teenager, you know. Hell, I was 40 plus years old before I actually realized what autism or the spectrum really is. And I learned that through the Sebastian Rogers case just over the last 2 years. So you can imagine 15, 16, 17, probably not in it for this thing. And this one girl, she was having her menstrual cycle, and there was other 3 popular girls sitting there laughing at her and pointing at her. And I remember looking at them and just looking at it like, what the fuck? You know, even in school, I knew that was wrong. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? They're like, oh, we're trying to help. Laughing at her? You're trying to help her. Those girls know damn well that's what it said. You know? It's just sad. And so they ended up walking her to the nurse's station, but it took somebody speaking up at their behavior. You know, and even in high school, I knew right from wrong. So if children are okay with this, then it's the parents. The parents are teaching this. Because my parents taught me it was wrong. I did a lot of stupid shit, but one thing I didn't do was pick on the disadvantaged. That's one thing I didn't do. Out of all the crap that I did, you know? And so it makes you wonder why. But again, this child, it sounds like, you know, there was a splash in the water. And that's, at the end of the day, the kind of, they've been looking for him on land, looking for him through predators, probably going through, you know, everybody that has an RSO or something like that. And they weren't looking in the right places. So now that they know where he went in at, it's been 2 weeks. So if he did sink, he's going to be floating at this point. I would beg to guess that he's probably 8 to 10 miles or further, based on Riley Strain's case. But it sounds like he's, wherever he went in, he sounds like he went in on that Manhattan Bridge. Now, the only other thing that could be possible, which I don't believe, but just in transparency and you know, making sure we cover all angles, there is the possibility that this is New York. Okay, we've seen some crazy shit, right? In New York, we've seen people just minding their own business and being set on fire on a subway train, right? Or somebody wanting to hurt somebody and somebody having to put somebody in a neck hold until they lost their life. You know, there's a lot of weird things that go on in New York. So would it surprise me if somebody was walking by and saw a kid and just tossed him over? Probably it wouldn't be too far-fetched for me to believe in New York, okay? It probably wouldn't be. Now, what is the probability of that? Very low, okay? But I just feel like it would be malpractice for me not to bring that other angle up. But it does sound, no matter how we look at this case, he's in the water. He's in the water. He did not meet these predators online. He did not meet them. Now, what made him want to take his own life is the question. And the only time I know of anybody that age taking their own life is because they've been bullied. And that's why I'm going to trust my gut, and I'm going to condemn those children, and not only those children, their parents. Because their parents know. Their parents see their behavior. They see how they act. They're not, you know, this idea, we need to start calling it what it is. Now, parents want to be in denial. That's what it is. But do not ever mistake that parents know what the heck is going on. My mom knew what the heck was going on. My mom was further from denial. She had no problem. We're from the corporal punishment era, okay? If they even sniffed you did something wrong, you got a wooden spoon up your ass. I'm not lying. You guys know it's true, because many of you guys are from my era. Okay, so I don't want to hear it. Okay, I'm sorry. We had cast iron skillets and wooden spoons. Okay, when we were growing up. I'm just saying. Okay, and let me tell you something. When I was growing up, it wasn't your mama and daddy giving you spankings. Okay, the stranger down the road that saw you doing something can absolutely snatch you up and bend you over his knee and send you home to your mommy and daddy and say, now you go tell them I spanked you. And if they need to call and come down here, let me know. You kids got it easy, okay? You guys got it easy. Now, I'm just saying. Now, of course, we were better mannered, right? Because the person in front of you, if you were out of line, could backhand you, right? And your parents wouldn't say shit, okay? Let me just be honest with you. Some stranger, you were disrespectful and some stranger popped you in your mouth, your parents wouldn't do anything. If some stranger popped you in your mouth and you went home to your parents and told them that some stranger popped you in your mouth, you know what the next thing's going to happen? You're going to get your ass whooped. Because why in the world does a stranger need to pop you in your mouth? You were popping off at the mouth, and now you're going to get another whipping here. Because how dare you? You embarrassed our family. That's how we grew up. I would love to see people get back to that, because let me tell you, we didn't have bullying issues in our school. We didn't have parents thinking that they can just have these unruly children without consequences. Because if you didn't want to discipline your child, the man down the road was going to do it. And there wasn't going to be a damn thing you do about it. Now they got laws, right? Oh, if you hit this child, now you've committed child abuse. Well, I'm going to tell you, when you rear your child, it is not child abuse. They may want to make you think that, because the more unruly and manipulating children that they have to use, they will. I.e., why we have Renee Good, and they've been indoctrinated in our schools. They've been indoctrinated in our schools. So I don't know how we're going to handle this case, but at the end of the day, Roblox is bad news. Okay, Roblox is bad news. I did not realize how many lawsuits were against Roblox at this moment. There are a lot of lawsuits. I know that there are some politicians that are trying to get the whole gaming system brought down. It's been so riddled with child predators and people disappearing from this app, this very specific gaming app. Now, granted, this whole predatory type of behavior is not immune to just Roblox, okay? But it's so much higher, for the predatory. Like, they have more predators on Roblox than any other platform. Now, that tells me the only reason why they have that is because the owners of this, the people that are writing the code for this, are not putting the protections in place for the children. So this comes back to the app people, okay? No matter how you look at it, we don't have this level on any other app. Do we have it on other apps? The answer is yes, okay? The answer is yes, okay? We have predators on just about every app, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. However, those other apps have different code or algorithms to help identify those people, shut those accounts down, and what have you. So while it is prominent on other platforms, it's not as prominent as Roblox. So Roblox have no guardrails for these type of people. They have nothing constructed in their code to identify these accounts and close them down. And that's going to be important, because people need, I really do believe we're going to have to get to a place where if you are going to be on certain apps, you need to identify yourself. And maybe people don't want to do that. And if that's the case, then you don't get to use the app. The app's a privilege, not a right. And so I think that the only way we're going to be able to get around a lot of this stuff, now, is it going to stop the criminals that go out of their way to get fake IDs and all this other stuff? It's never going to stop the criminality. It's just going to put another hiccup or bumper in the road, And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for something, we want it to stop, but we know we're realistic people. We know we're never going to get it to stop because social media is too big. It's too easy to create new accounts. It's constant changing. And when somebody really wants to do something, or they're a predator or a criminal, they're going to keep learning. Every time that they get kicked off, they learn something new. And so they perfect. So after a while, they have this well-oiled machine that can get around fluidly on all of these apps. But and they've also got classes for these predators too. Just like anything that we learn, like when we go into investigative work and stuff like that, we might go on here and say, what are best practices for this investigation, or what are best practices for a homicide investigation. We might learn some new techniques and tools and stuff like that online. Well, if that's true for us, for stuff that's normal and lawful, think about what's going on. I never even knew this, but there are even like cartel and higher tier drug dealers. I don't know, like kingpins. Do you know that they even have like a place that they go yearly to talk to other kingpins? Did you know that? I'm floored. I'm floored. These people construct this stuff like businesses. They have, different programs that they do around the world that they fly people in and they sit there and they talk about their business. I know. I mean, it's shocking, but I found that out. I never knew that. And they do things like they'll go to like weird countries too, countries that allow them to get away with like everything. I want to say like Bosnia and stuff like that. It's crazy. Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles Thursday night while covering the Grammy Awards. Woo! Rat bastard. About frickin' time. That guy thinks he could get away with frickin' murder. Hello, Miss Robin, 'cause I'm a love machine. Ow! Thank you. All right, let's pull this up. Let me pull back a little bit. We got a couple breaking news that we've had on this show this morning. Wow, this has been wild. It's been a wild morning, folks. So what we're finding out right now is that Don Lemon was arrested, but before that, we found out Daniel Martel was also arrested. So let's go to Daniel Martel. Okay, here we go. So he's charged with assault. Oh, I thought his mommy said he wasn't a violent guy. I thought mommy said he wasn't a violent guy. Jane! Isn't that her name, Jane? No, maybe it's not. What was her name? What was her name? What was his mama's name? Janie Martel? Why don't I keep thinking that? Anyways, let's go over here and find out what the hell's going on.
Breaking news for you now. The stepfather of missing Nova Scotia children, Lily and Jack Sullivan, is now facing charges in an assault case involving an adult. Nova Scotia RCMP say Daniel Martel was arrested on Monday. Martel will appear in court again in March. He's the stepfather of 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, who disappeared from their rural home in Pictou County last May. The siblings are still missing, despite repeat.
Now we have drugs in the house and DV, because somebody's not going to get arrested unless they put their hands on somebody, period. So, I shouldn't say that. Or an affidavit was filed that they did put their hands on somebody. Doesn't necessarily mean that they did, but either way, I have a funny feeling he is on the hook for this. What does it say? Don Lemon thinks followers are singing Mark Anthony's Hero. That dude's such a douchebag. He talks about, he's such a, this is what I don't understand is how can you talk so deplorably about white people and then be married to a white person? I mean, I just don't understand that. It's like the rest of us speaking horribly about another nationality or race or something. I don't understand. I don't understand why it always has to be about black, white, and brown. That's a government bullshit. I'm about American or illegal. Right? I really don't care who you are. You know what I care about? I care about whether you're an American citizen of this country. If you're not, I want you gone. It's pretty simple. If you're an American citizen, I love you. I may not like you, but I love you. So now we got domestic violence in this home, and we have missing children, and we have drugs. I'm sorry, Daniel Martel might be good for this. I don't trust that man. I've never trusted him.
We learned Daniel Martel, the stepfather of Jack and Lily, the missing Sullivan siblings from Pictou County, faces charges not related to the children. Let's go right to CTV late anchor Bruce Frisco in the news center. Bruce, details pretty sparse, but what do we know?
Well, I'll tell you, Todd, as you say, very few details. We received some basic facts in an email this afternoon from RCMP, and we obtained some court documents about an hour ago. The arrest actually happened at the start of this week. So police arrested 34-year-old Daniel Robert Martel of Lansdowne on Monday, January 26th, around 11:30 in the morning. He is facing 3 charges, serious charges: assault, sexual assault, and forcible confinement.
Wow. Janie! Janie, I thought you said your son was a sweetheart. If he tried to stop her, I'd let her go. And I said, well, normal mommies don't say that. They say, my son would never stop her. Not that if he tried to, I'd step in. Just saying. So these are serious allegations. Serious allegations. We knew he was dating a new woman. This new woman probably interjected herself into his life because he was all popular, because he was on TV. And she just loves him and just had to know he didn't have anything to do with his children, despite all these professionals, including the deception detective, saying, can this guy be violent? You bet your ass he can be. But hey, little pretty Missy, she just loves him. She just wanted to be around him. And then he probably started doing those substances that she probably didn't believe he was doing. And then bada bing, bada boom, she didn't want to party with him. And he's saying, oh, girlie, you gonna party whether you like it or not. Don't you know I got some missing kids? Do you want to be swimming with fishes like Ma? And it's not funny, but you know how these things go. Don, it has rusted. We're getting there, Skylar. We're getting there. We haven't gotten there yet. Don't worry. You're not late. We're still talking about another dickhead. I'm just saying.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions. You're a liar.
And we got to hear from my wannabe sugar daddy.
You're CNN. You're fake news. You have an agenda.
Because I'm a love machine. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you. So, yeah. Do they have ankle monitors in California? That's a great question, Deanna. The hell if I know. I'm sure they do. My steak name was Daniel Hawthorne. The David and Daniel's in trouble. Yeah. Hey, Evan, baby. It's nice to see you, love bug. Thank you for everything. Man, if you had 1,000 kids, I don't think any man would mess with a bullhorn. Well, because I'd feed them with sugar and put a bullhorn in their hand. You can mess with them if you want to, but I'm gonna train them just like me. No, I'm just joking. Their bite's worse than their bark. Hey, Lori, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Let me keep moving down. Oh, good morning. Aw, thank. Trying to reach goal. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I just put it out there. You know how to try. We do what we do. But I always appreciate it. I always like reminding people that it's out there. Veronica just gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships because I'm a love machine. Hey! So don't forget to tell Veronica, be true. Thank you for your gifted memberships, and I can see you guys. So we got Candace, Chicky. Oops, I just went up too far. Hold on. Candace, Chicky, Lover Girl, Amanda, and Phoenix Moon. Well, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard, folks. Welcome aboard. So we're learning that this father that we thought was awfully sus, he kept hitting, he always wanted to be overly helpful. And I said, that's a problem for me. Him being the only one moving about in these woods, on those first few days. I told you guys that was a problem for me. It was a problem for me. And still is a problem for me, right? So we've got Daniel Martell that was out moving around. He was the one moving around. He was the one, the whole thing with this pink blanket that seemed really, really sus. His significant other, the mother of these children, literally take off out of the house the first opportunity she can leave and run from him. And I still believe she knows what happened to her kids, and I believe she sat idly by when he did whatever he did. I don't know what he did. I don't know what she did. But we do know that 2 children are gone, and we're learning from Sebastian Rogers and the stuff we're doing with AI that children just don't vanish into thin air. And if they do vanish into thin air, it's very, very specific on what most likely happened. Something happened inside the house with immediate concealment. That's the only thing that can explain this case, because this case does have those characteristics that Sebastian Rogers' case also has. But the difference is these two children are too young to survive on their own. That's the difference. That's the only difference between what we've learned on the Sebastian Rogers case and what we are learning in the Lily and Jack Sullivan case. We covered Lily and Jack Sullivan, too, in depth. We didn't go boots on the ground there because it's out of the country. I don't do out of the country cases. I don't do Canada cases. This one I haven't, and when I got into this, I told you guys, I don't do international cases, but this is one. We had two young children. The only reason why I was involved in it is because we were involved in it from day one. The children were missing. There was a huge effort to find the kids. So these were being a 4 and a 6-year-old. And if I could put my platform out there and, run these faces on this platform, I never intended to go out there. I only assumed that they would be found fairly quickly, because at the very beginning of this case, I never assumed that the parents or there was any foul play attributed to this. The foul play attributed to this didn't come until after 36 hours had lapsed from these children being missing. And then I knew, as much ground searching that they did with the dogs and everything else, and knowing how kids move around, because we've covered kids cases before. So we know we have kids that have wandered off and have been found. So we've been part of searches for children that were found, right? Our J.J. Rollins at Brooksville, prime example, went to Brooksville to help out with that search. The child was found alive, eaten up by mosquitoes, dehydrated, but alive. He truly did wander off. And I always tell you guys, whenever somebody does wander off, if a child does wander off, if a human being does wander off, if a dog does wander off, you're going to find them in and around the area. When you do this huge 5 or 10 mile area, you're usually going to find what you're looking for in that radius, because people only move so fast, okay? And then you put like trees and foliage, that slows you down. It doesn't speed you up. So you can reasonably deduct how long or how far a child could normally travel in that distance. And once you've cleared that whole area and nothing's been found, not a dead child, not an alive child, just nothing, you can deduct that this is staged, that something isn't making sense, because the children should be found. I want 5 cards. Okay, we haven't done cards in a while. All right. We got cards. Now you got to tell me which cards you want. We'll do 5 cards for you. Sonia sent us these cards here. I haven't even taken them out of the sleeves. And these are some where's the box? Oh, good gracious. All right, so let me read what your options are. Hold on, let me pull them all out so I know what your options are. What are your options? We haven't done this in a while, and I don't know why. Yeah, I do. I do know why. Because we've been going crazy with all the technical stuff. That's been weighing on my mind more than anything else. So Sonia sent us the Bible verse players card. That's what these are. So you can get that. Here's your options for your selection for 5 cards. You got Affirmation Deck. We got Crush Your Golds. Inner Effing Peace. Blossom Encouragement cards. We got Hope and Happiness. We got Spiritual AF. And we've got Affirmations for a Badass. One more to get the goal. Thank you. So now you have to make your selection. Oh, you guys are great this morning. Making sure I meet my goal. I appreciate y'all. Oh, I feel the love. Okay, so I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and then I'm going to pick your card for you. So tell me what you want. Your options are Affirmation Desk, Crush Your Goal, Blossom. What does it say? You pick. Okay. I think I like these Spiritual AF cards. Let's try some of these. I shouldn't say I like them. I haven't really, used them, but I like those look pretty spicy. Let's see what this is. Let's see what this has. Let's see what this has. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, I kind of like the way these cards look too. These are kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Oh, thank you. Oh, love it. I want cards too. Okay, do you have any preference? We've got affirmation deck, crush your goals, the Bible verses, inner effing peace, blossom encouragement. We got spiritual AF. We got hope and happiness and affirmations of a badass. Okay, let's see what's on both sides of these cards. Ooh. Okay, so you can't save your face and your ass at the same time. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Let me see what you said. Hold on. Let me see what you said. Let them 66. Hold on. Okay. Did you tell me which cards? The Bible ones. Okay, perfect. I got the Bible ones right here. Right here. We'll pull you a few. Okay, perfect. Okay. So you can't save your face and your ass at the same time. Don't you already like these? Is there a secret you're keeping? Is ego keeping you from being honest about who you really are? Go ahead and admit where you effed up. Seriously, we're all F-ups in some way. Welcome to being human. You do you, baby. I love that. That is awesome. Come on, guys. You know that was funny. Because I tell you guys all this time. You guys ditch the perfection. We're not perfect. When everybody tries to attach perfection to our law enforcement officers to boot, it's like, boo-boo, you ain't even perfect. But yet you want to apply that to an officer that's under strenuous circumstances. Anyways, integrity is the new black. I believe that. Yes, ma'am. Okay, here we go. Integrity means having your actions match your values. Most of the time, integrity takes a lot of not doing stuff. Not smacking people, not yelling at people, not talking shit, not stealing stuff, not lying, not littering, not eating your roommate's last gluten-free, soy-free vegan pizza roll. Sounds like we need some safe spaces and coloring books. Oh, wrong one. And when the temptation is strong to do the bad thing, sometimes it helps to write down the good thing and put it on your backpack. It's really hard to justify smacking someone when you have your ass pressed up against the word compassion. Oh, these are funny. All right. I think we're gonna do spiritual AF for you to let them 66. Oh no, you wanted to do the Christian cards. Okay, sorry. I forgot you answered. We'll do your Christmas cards. Okay, or Christian cards. Heart is where these are hilarious. Heart is where the new balls is the new balls. Oh, excuse me. Heart is the new balls. I need to read. I need to get the crust out of my eyes. How did testicles get so hyped up as a powered center of the world? The heart, my friend, has always been more powerful than those two delicate dangly things. Woo! And check in with your heart. Put your hands over the giant pumping muscle and ask it straight up. How would you run your day if it was given a chance? Then give it the chance. Unfuckable. Okay, it's un-F-withable. So you're un-F-withable. If you find yourself effed with, I don't see Cream B. Clutch them pearls. Is he in here? Is Justin in here? Oh, the dangly. Are you guys making fun of Justin? I'm going to tell him on you. I'm going to tell him. If you find yourself effed with, take a moment to reflect on what part of you is out of whack and susceptible to being effed with. Effed withable. Then check that stuff with some self-love. And when you filled with the brim with love, nothing anyone says or does bothers you, and no negativity can touch you. You know what makes you a badass, a big old spiritual badass. Woo-hoo-hoo! And lastly, gossip dies when it hits the wise ears. Ooh, I like this one. Here's how to get wise. Refuse to hear stories that aren't yours to hear. Refrain from telling stories that aren't yours to tell. If someone comes at you with an, oh my gosh, did you hear about blah, blah, blah? Stop them right there and ask, is it gossip, rumor, dirt, or other such junk? This tends to kill everyone's shit-talking boner. All right, I love that. That was great. That's good stuff right there. Give it up for the spiritual AF box. Woohoo! All right. Let's see what you got over in the spiritual realm. So we got one. Oh, we got pretty cards too. I like the color of your cards. Your 5 cards are beautiful. Your 5 cards are beautiful. Okay, let's look at them. See? Beautiful. Look at the colors of these. These are beautiful. I like the colors. I like the colors. So this is to let them 66. It says, for when we're enemies, we're reconciled to God through the death of his son. Much more, having been reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. Romans 5:10. And this is in the New King James Version. And then on the back, it says, they have the same thing on both, so no matter what side of the card you're on. Perfect. It says, God did not send his son to the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. Ooh, I like that. Let's give that applause. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jews first and also for the Greeks. That's a New James Version, Romans 1:16, New King James Version. That New King James. That's what that, NKJV means. For so the Lord has commanded us, I have set you as a light to the Gentiles, and that you should be for salvation to the end of the earth. And that's in Acts 13:47. Oh, I love these. And the last one for you, my love. For as in Adam all die, even so in Christ all shall be made alive. And that's the 1 Corinthians 15:22. And again, that's from the New King James Version. Thank you, Sonia, for those donations. Love that. All right, guys. Well, there you go. We got cards. Maybe we need to start doing the cards again. They're right here. It's just that, I think my mind's just went, chug a lug, because I've been stressed out over all the equipment shit. Oh, excuse my language, but I have been. I won't lie to you. The equipment stuff really had, but of course, I came here and you guys made my stress, much lighter. So now we've got stuff that's already come in. We've got some of the stuff that we needed. So hopefully we will get, believe it or not, this equipment stuff, I got to tell you, is not, anyways, doesn't matter. The bottom line is we got it. I'm hoping to running with the new equipment on Monday. If we can run it by tomorrow, if I get up early enough and I get in here and start screwing around with it, maybe we'll, run with the new equipment. But we'll see. We'll see what I can do today. We'll see what I can do tomorrow. But I figured, Monday will give me enough time to figure it all out. And if I have to go get plugs or another cord or something like that, it should give me, time to go purchase and stuff like that. So I'm sitting in van waiting for Belle. They gone. Thank you, God. Aw. Well, there you go. I'm glad that they're... Why isn't this thing... What the heck's going on here? I'm frozen up? Am I frozen up? Shouldn't be frozen up, but... Ooh. our chat box just went down. It was weird. All right, I think we're back up now. There we go. My chat box went down, which these are all plugins anyways. And again, it has a lot to do with what my computer is having to do. But anyways, let's get back. So we just learned Daniel Martel is facing serious charges. If you're just coming in, Daniel Martel has been arrested. He was just arrested in the last week for DVSA, and it sounds like kidnapping or keeping somebody captive. So, those things that we heard about Michaela, her wanting to leave and him not letting her leave. Something ain't right. This man's evil. There's something not right with him. Okay. Everybody was looking at Daniel. Of course, Malaya's behavior made everybody look at her. And I think her behavior is based on she knows what happened to her children, but is too scared to say something. Because I guarantee before she left the house, he says, if you ever tell anybody, you're going down too. And that's always been a way to control people. And even if they didn't have anything to do with it, and she has a history of DV, especially at his hands, she might be able to, but the longer she keeps her mouth shut, which she's already kept her mouth shut, the worse it's going to be for her, because she's out of his clutches and she still never opened her mouth. So I'm sorry, there's no good excuse for that. Okay. And then, of course, we have Don Lemon. Arrest. So this is another breaking news that we've learned of. Let's see if we can get anything with his arrest being on TV. Here it is. It looks like we got it. Here's the arrest right here. Hold on. Let me let all of these things come up real quick so I
take
can
a look at this.
This is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. But there were folks who will say, I have to take care of my flock.
Make sure this, you guys can see it. So let me go over here, put myself on the other side of the screen so you guys can see that a little better. He was arrested, folks. So we're getting into that story right now. It's breaking this morning. I did not know he was arrested. I did not hear he was arrested.
There's a Constitution and the First Amendment to freedom.
Don Lemon. You say Don Lemon? You mean from CNN? The guy that got canned at CNN? Oh, is that Don Lemon's church? No. Don Lemon went to this church that day. Why that day? Because Don Lemon was in the organizational group, all staged and cameras ready to go into a church service when the pastor said, I have to defend my flock. I have to protect my flock. God bless you, pastor, by the way. Don Lemon remarkably cites the First Amendment.
What an idiot. He thinks he's righteous for doing that. He is not. So let's go ahead and get over here.
Fox News alert. Journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in connection with an anti-ICE protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Bill Malusian joins us now with more on this breaking news. Hey, Bill.
Before we get into this, I just want to make a very, very clear statement, a statement for this show specifically. It is the position of this show that there are no two tiers of justice, okay? Everybody needs to be held accountable if they commit a crime in this country. There should be no, we're going to let this person pass. We're going to let this person pass. We're going to let this person pass. We can no longer have that type of justice in this community. It's not fair for anybody else. I'm not the fair police, but I'm also a constitutionalist, and the Constitution states that others should not be treated differently, that it must be applied equally. I think it's the 14th Amendment. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it's the 14th Amendment that says that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but there is an amendment that says that we must apply due process, apply the laws equally. And when Americans start seeing this two-tier of justice and seeing these activist judges on these benches, it unnerves me. I want them all removed. I want them all impeached. I want them all fired. We do not have two tiers of justice in violation of our Constitution. I am a constitutionalist. And this made me very, very angry. This made my blood boil that Don Lemon, some piece of shit, can do something like this to somebody and go without being held accountable because of who he was. That is disgusting. That will never be an American position again, not as long as I live. If I can go protest something like that, you bet your ass I'm going to be there because it's wrong. It's wrong. And it's disrespectful to the rest of the American citizens that follow the law and don't get in trouble. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Charlie, good morning to you. Our colleague David Spunt and I getting this breaking news from multiple law enforcement sources just minutes ago, confirming that former CNN anchor Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles just after midnight this morning at a hotel. This obviously all in connection with that storming of a church in St. Paul, Minnesota by that group of anti-ICE agitators. Now remember, the feds had gone to judges to try to get Don Lemon arrested before. They went to a magistrate judge in Minnesota.
And he is a racist. Don Lemon is a racist, and I can't wait. I pray to God that they arrest him for the Ku Klux Klan Act, the KKK Act. That's what they need to go after this man for. That's what they need to go after all of them for, because they're no different than the lynchmen of the KKK. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. What are they trying to do? They're trying to hang the white man, right? These people are racist, okay? I don't believe in racism. I think it's disgusting. I think it's a government thing to wedge us away from each other. At the end of the day, the only thing I care about is, are you American, right? American, nationalized, or immigrant, or illegal, right? American, immigrant, illegal. That's all we should have on forms. I'm sick of the white, black, brown, Asian argument. I'm tired of it. And what does it matter? What does it matter? It shouldn't matter. We're either Americans and are eligible for benefits, or we're not. That's all that needs to happen. So while you're sitting there, black, white, brown, while I have to do it sometimes, it makes me sick to my stomach, by the way, I think that our government needs to change the way they speak. Because when we have federal forms that identify us by race and color, well, you can see where the problem lies, right? It should never be that way. It should be about whether we're American citizens and entitled to benefit. That should never come down to the color of our skin. Ever.
Who didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to a judge above him. He didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to an appeals court. They also decided not to sign off for an arrest warrant for him. So there was experts who were predicting.
Yeah, the two tiers of justice. Every single one of you guys should be terrified of this. Terrified. Hey, Missy, it's nice to see you, love. You guys should be terrified. Think about it. If we had done this, we would be in jail, sitting in jail. And this man, because his name's Don Lemon, can break the law that we can't break. And these judges refuse to arrest him. But if had our names been on those warrants, they would have no problem signing their names to them. You guys do not have a problem with that? I certainly have a problem with that. I think it's unlawful. I think it goes against our Constitution. And I think each and every one of those judges were derelict in their duties and should be impeached for allowing this unconstitutional ruling that shows the world there are truly two tiers of justice in the United States, for them and for us. Unfortunately for us, ours comes with a lot of years in jail. Theirs comes with multiple arrest warrants never being even issued. I got a problem with this. I want everybody held accountable for this. I want heads to roll and I want people fired.
Predicting that perhaps the feds would go to a grand jury. It remains to be seen if that's what happened here, but we can confirm that Don Lemon was arrested in Los Angeles by federal agents just after midnight Los Angeles time at a hotel.
This piece of shit thought he was above the law. And the people protecting them too. You all need to be in jail. And you may not like us, but MAGA's coming for your asses. And it may not be under Trump, but trust me, we're bigger than Trump. We're going to be ruling this roost for a really long time. We come from all walks of life, all political backgrounds, and we have united for the common goal of America first. And we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to reclaim our country. And we're going to keep putting people, presidents, congressmen, we're going to be doing grassroots effort all over this country to make sure proper politicians are elected in offices that they were properly elected to rule and oversee. What we've had for years and decades is these Dominion machines and other machines changing votes. They may not be able to change them at the higher ones that are monitored, but they've been able to do a lot for our mayors, our county commissions, our board of county, our city hall people. Those are the ones that are causing a lot of havoc. So we had to grow roots and start doing grassroots efforts all over this country to hold our counties and our communities at a very granular level accountable. Okay. And that's what we all went out in our communities and did. There's millions of people like me out there. There are millions of people that are working around the clock. These people are not just Republicans, by the way. I work with Democrats, I work with independents, but predominantly I work with Republicans. And we go out and we try to make a difference in this country and across this country. Do we do it by a variety of ways? We do it by social media pressure predominantly, because that's the one thing that we all can do without being together. And then, of course, we work together in setting up small groups around the world. Okay. This is not just here. If you've noticed, a lot of the higher tiered people that are on the conservative movement, you'll find out that they travel all over this world. There is a reason why they do that. There's a reason why that they have the money to be able to do that, because it is not just a United States effort. If you've seen when they try to take all of our countries away from us and give it to themselves, because that's what socialism and communism is, they did this, they had this infiltration all over the world that we, the people here in America, were paying for through our taxes. We caused all of this around the world. Okay, we paid for all of it. And then our votes were being stolen from us. So when they went and got Nicolas Maduro, and everybody was worried that he was doing that for the oil, I knew that it was much bigger than the oil. We're not that petty over oil, okay? We're America, okay? We've got our own supply here. We have a big, beautiful, vast amount of supply. Does Venezuela have a lot? Yes, they do. We would love to have their oil, right? But we're not going to go steal their oil, okay? We're America. Okay? We're not Somalia. We're not pirates. Okay, so I knew that this had to have been bigger. This was bigger, this was bigger, this was bigger. And when I was doing just a little bit, under surface stuff while everybody's screaming oil, I was screaming voting machines. I was screaming stolen election, because I knew that had to have been the only reason, because we're coming up on midterms in 2026, and one of the biggest pushes for the MAGA movement is to make sure that our votes aren't stolen anymore. It has been a major push. We are holding a lot of politicians accountable around this country to make sure that we have election integrity. And we are fighting our own party. And so a lot of us came together and started to apply pressure to every single one of our senators, our leader. And we just did this nonstop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for weeks and months and months. And so now we're finally getting movement where they're bringing the SAVE Act forward. But they're never going to be able to pass the SAVE Act, because in the Senate, it requires 60 votes. So we're going to have an appetite of nuking the filibuster. And everybody wants to sit up there on their frickin' virtue. And at the end of the day, the filibuster was an accident that happened 40 years after the creation of the United States. It was an accident. It was never supposed to be, but it was never fixed. And here we are 200 years later, 210 years later, and we're still fighting the same bullshit that should have never been in place to begin with. And it has been stripped from everything else except the Senate. And the Senate holdout is for power. That's it. John Thune is not MAGA's friend. John Thune is not the president's friend. Okay? John Thune is a loyalist to Mike Pence, which is a traitor, and Mitch McConnell, which is a traitor. If you are from Kentucky, my only ask to you is quit voting for Massey, Rand Paul, and McConnell's gone. We've got Nate Morris coming in. Nate Morris needs the support of Kentucky. Nate Morris is MAGA. So, and Nate Morris was handpicked by Charlie Kirk. So I'm going to be supporting Nate Morris. And I'm going to ask you folks that are in his district in Kentucky to please support him. All right? Please. I walked up to him. I had an opportunity to speak to him. I would love to be in Kentucky to campaign for him. I'd love to stump for him. I'd love to phone bank for him. I would take this channel to Kentucky if I could. That's how important this is for me. Okay? McConnell's got to go, Rand Paul's got to go, and Massey has to go. They have been our major bloc in the Republican Party for years. Over a decade. They've all got to go. So if you're my family from Kentucky, please do us a favor. Do your service to the United States of America. And right now, we need new leadership in Kentucky, all the way across. If you guys are voting for these people, there's something wrong with you. Okay? Quit voting for the mailers. If your politician's not knocking on your door and shaking your hand, you have no business voting for them. Okay? You have no business voting for them. Don't go for brand name, because they're rhinos. We need to get these rhinos up out of the Republican Party. They have been thrown out. They are as corrupt as the Democrat Party. Many of them are running over to the Democrat Party because we all know our politics has been corrupted on both sides. Well, we're making sure we're cleaning our side of the street. So for you Democrats that are out there, what are you doing? Because it's time for you to get off your butt and start working and cleaning up your party, because your party's turning evil, and they're turning evil very, very quickly. And you're going to have a choice. You're either going to have to nip this in the bud, or you're going to have to detach from the Democrat Party and either run as an independent or come over and cross over to the Republican side. That's the only thing that's going to help you. Because these people, if you're a Christian person, they don't want you anyways. What values does the Democrat Party hold for a Christian family this day and age? I will wait. If you guys don't want to say it publicly, you can reach out to me and I'll keep your stuff private. You can reach out to me privately and speak your truth. If I'm hurting your feelings, let me know. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Now, I may not change my talking points, but if it's really bothering you, I might change some of the things I say. So you can reach out to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. But it's time that we start taking, and you guys start taking this seriously. Back once upon a time, we all knew our votes were just thrown away. Why? Because they were stolen from us. We just were too stupid to realize that. But with all this technology that we have now, guys, with all this technology, we're able to find these things much better. You know? Hey, Freebird, it's nice to see you, love. We're able to find these things better and easier. So now we're able to have real good data on what's going on, and we're able to uncover the fraud. We're able to uncover the players. This should have all these dirty, slimy, sleazy politicians shaking in their boots. And I bet you Fulton County right now is pissing. They're scared shitless. Okay? They really are. And I would be too, because we coming for you. And everybody can keep saying Trump, Trump, Trump. You guys need to be saying MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Okay? Trump's only the person that we put to lead. You guys haven't figured it out yet. Who's ruling this roost? It's MAGA. It's MAGA. We've got the votes. We've got the people. We got the people going into the meetings. Just being honest here. We love Trump, but this isn't Trump. This is MAGA. This is MAGA country. You guys need to understand. We're going to be rocking this shit very, very quickly. 2026, we're going to own that shit. We're going to own that shit. So there are multiple. Let's get back to our regularly programmed show. We've got some things going on here. You know, getting back to Roblox. It is MAGA time. It is MAGA time. We're gonna. Like I said, we're gonna run this shit. And we're tired, okay? And when you get 77 million people together that are sick and tired, you're not going to be able to push us around, okay? We have a block. Let me just make sure America understands MAGA has the block. I go into these things with my head held high because I really don't care. Why? Because I know we have the votes. That's very confident. I know that we have the votes. If we need to push something, we will get it done. And MAGA, just for you guys to know, if you know nothing about it, is absolutely the biggest grassroots effort across this country. So for parents listening who don't fully understand how all this works with predators, let me kind of break down the tactics that these predators use on the Roblox gaming system, so you'll better understand the threats and first steps in protecting your children. The first step is this grooming process. That's step one. Predators don't intimidate, don't immediately proposition a child. They build a relationship. They build a rapport. They use this, and sometimes they work for months to years to gain the confidence of these young children. And they sit here and work it to engage their trust. Hey, thank you for that. I love it. Me and you, good morning. 10 months, I love it. Good morning, beautiful Betty. Aw, thank you. And if you guys don't know, whenever you are a member, you get once a month, you get a free milestone thing. So you can go to your membership and you can write. You don't even have to give a super chat. Did you know that? Most people forget that or don't know that. But like she just did here, this right here comes with her monthly membership. So she's able to once a month provide a little, super chat. I think it's awesome. So if you didn't know that and you are a member, go over to your chat, your gifting or your milestone. They'll say milestone and you can just type whatever you want in. Just thought, so I didn't realize that when I first got on here before I was Bullhorn Betty. I didn't know that. And so when I was members with people, I just paid the fee each month and I just let it go. And everybody was like writing notes and I'm like, oh, I wonder how they did that. Little did I know, right? So anyways, let's get into how this goes on. As we know, grooming is the first process. This is where they build rapport and trust over a period of time with the child. They want to become that child's friend. They want that child to feel like they can talk to them about anything. And that's how they build the trust with the child. That's when they start introducing other apps such as Discord, TikTok, private messaging platforms. So as you guys know, it's a stepping stone, right? We meet the child, we start playing with the child on this game, we start having fun with them, we start building this trust with them. And then we said, oh, have you been over here to this Discord? You need to come over here and check this out. And then they're like, oh yeah, sure. No problem. Give me the link. And then they're moving your child off the platform where moderation exists into private spaces and nobody can see what is happening. So that's kind of how the process begins. And then they're using fake identities, right? So we know that these predators are not 15-year-old girls or boys. They're usually much older and playing that they are this 15-year-old boy or 15-year-old girl when they're actually a 40 or 45 or 50-year-old man. And Roblox age verification, they admit kids can bypass it by borrowed identities. Parents can help predators unknowingly by allowing their younger siblings or children onto verified accounts. So, some of these threats are coming from parents, because they're ignorant about the threats that that are online. So there's something called trusted connections. It's a QR code that tells the system that two users know each other in real life. A predator can convince a child to scan this code and boom, the age restrictions are lifted. The predator can safely contact the child freely, right? So we want to make sure that you understand that. Let me get over here to some of the information. Let me go ahead and get some of this stuff out because child safety of Roblox, we're about to get into that. So we have this Roblox child exploitation lawsuits that have been consolidated in federal court. Following an important court decision, 2026 is set to be a landmark year for growing number of Roblox child exploitation lawsuits. This is what bothers me. You would think that if a business did not condone certain kind of conduct, say child predatory type of actions, you would think that they would go out of their way to put a bunch of stuff in place. But to continue to allow this to happen over and over and over again, to the point that people are suing you and you're still not doing a damn thing about it, it makes it appear, it has the appearance that they condone the actions. And that's a problem because children are losing their life and losing a lot more. And some that survive this live the rest of their life having to deal with the scars that nobody can see. It's not fair. It's not fair. And for a business it shouldn't take this. And they shouldn't be provided an opportunity for corrective measures. They know this stuff is going on and they fail to protect children. They should lose their sight. Period. They should lose their sight. If they want to rebuild another site that puts better parameters, it should be built. But it should never be used as roadblocks again. That business model needs to be gone. It needs to be taken down and never used again. Just my opinion. Again, this is all my opinions. So what we're learning is December 2025, dozens of these cases were officially centralized in the multi-district litigation group similar cases under one judge for legal proceedings. Roblox has been pushing against this key development as the company looks to combat growing claims that it did not protect young users from sexual predators and exploitation. And from my understanding, they still have not put those necessary parameters in place, but I could be wrong. We'll keep reading. Now, more than 80 of these cases, 80 folks, 80 children. You got to remember, each one of these represents a child. If I ever saw the owners of this, I don't know if I can contain myself. I would definitely be cussing their ass out. If I saw them out in the road, if I saw them out in the public, I would be screaming at them. How dare them? 80, folks. Each one of those cases, and these are the cases we know about. Those are children. How the creation of this MDL impacts the Roblox lawsuit. MDLs are often formed when multiple lawsuits that share similarities have been filed or are expected to be filed. So I have a funny feeling that there's going to be even more. The pending Roblox lawsuits all involve similar claims that the platform did not provide guardrails to protect children from predators and that some minors are exploited or sexually assaulted as a result. They're going to go after one way or another. It looks like Roblox might be done because I have a funny feeling with 80, the lawsuit is going to be so astronomical it's going to bankrupt this company, which it should. I'm completely fine with that. I'm not going to lose any sleep. Actually, I'll probably sleep better. So the MDL, which was created in California and placed before Judge Richard Seaborg, will allow these cases to advance through the legal process together. This could lead to a faster, more uniformed result. The plaintiffs win preliminary bellwether trials. Roblox may be encouraged to agree or to settle that covers the other pending cases. If these litigants, I think that the only settlement that's going to be sufficient is them removing this entire platform. They can recreate a new platform under a new name, but I think that they need to lose their platform in its entirety. So lawsuit claims for digital and real life nightmare for kids. This is just scary, folks. The dozens of pending Roblox lawsuits claim that platform has not only created an environment where children could be vulnerable to predators, but also prioritized profits and growth over safety, which I think they did. These are children, again, lifelong injuries, and I don't care. I think I hope and pray that the lawsuit is so astronomical that they theoretically bankrupt this business, and that's going to be the best way to end this and force them to start over. One lawsuit cited former Roblox employee as saying, You have to make decisions, right? You can keep your players safe, but then it would be less of them on the platforms. So safety is, you'd rather have more people on a platform than having a safe platform. That's a decision that this Roblox company made. And that's exactly why I believe they should be bankrupted, because they chose quantity over quality. And that quality was at risk of children, not adults, the most vulnerable on their platform. Or you let them do what they want to do, and then the numbers all look good and investors will be happy. I just wanted to make that make sense. Here it is, right here. This is how Roblox feels about public safety of your children. Pretty scary, huh? That says, one lawsuit cited a former Roblox employee saying, you have to make a decision, right? You can keep your players safe, but then it would be less of them on the platform. Why? So you're encouraging predators to be on your platform for money. I mean, that was the trade-off. They knew exactly what was going on, and they chose investors being happy than children not being SA'd. This company literally needs to be bankrupted. These comments right here are very problematic for me. I would want this company bankrupt. I want this company bankrupt. That's scary. And that's going to bite them in the ass. Thank God. These lawsuit claims that part of the issue stems from how few restrictions are in place to keep predators off the platform. That's why this has been, Joan says the wrong choice. Yeah, very wrong choice. So they don't want to keep the predators off the platforms. They don't want to put the guardrails in place. Why? Because they want it to be a predator ground. And I also heard, and it doesn't matter, you know, we're friendly to however you live your life. I mean, it's not something that I believe in with my Christian values, but I will never tell anybody how to live their life. You've got to live your life for yourself. And this could be right, this could be wrong. But from what I'm hearing is that the owners of this Roblox are gay men that don't mind. I think that they're predators as well. You know, I don't know, but that's what I've heard. I didn't look into it. I didn't confirm it. It might be another case that I'm talking about or another company I'm talking about. It might be Blue Sky. It could be Blue Sky, but I'm pretty sure that they said this about Roblox. But it's one or the other. It should be terminated, Pebbles. Life interrupted. I thought law was a child has to be. Unless, and that's what they're saying is that they're not putting enough in place that these kids are being able to work around it. So, you know, these kids, but they're young, their brains aren't developed, you know, they think this person's their friend and their mommy and daddy's being mean, you know, so they're not doing enough. They're just not doing enough. And I think that that's really what it's about. And of course, the child safety on Roblox, the safety of child on Roblox, a multi-game platform managed by American company Roblox Corporation, has been the subject of much debate and controversy, including sexual content, sexual predators, political extremism, and financial exploitation, which have led some countries to ban the platform. So this platform is banned in other countries because of their criminal conduct. This needs to be, I'm sorry, enough said. It's enough. So we've got this going on. This is real problems in our personal sphere. And I don't know what else to say. And here's the financial exploitation part of it that makes my blood boil. Roblox uses an in-game currency called Robux. Predators encourage children to spend money, real money, on in-game items. So they're encouraging these children and they're making a profit off of it. Predators encourage children to spend money, real money, on in-game items. They build false intimacy. If you love me, you'll buy me this. Wow. Children are spending hundreds of dollars of their parents' money trying to impress someone they've never met who's grooming them for exploitation. Children should never be allowed to purchase something. They have no money, right? This is a digital hunting ground, folks. Roblox is the landlord collecting rent from the hunters while the children play. Oh my gosh! we've got endangered children. Congress needs to act. The Federal Trade needs to act. Companies like Roblox need to understand that profits don't matter more than protection. They need to be bankrupted. We support the Trump administration, but we're also calling them into action right now to use the force of the federal powers to shut this down. The predatory ecosystem within these platforms. These are moments where big government enforcement is exactly what we need. We hate big government, folks. We hate big government, but we still have it. So if we have it, why aren't they using it, right? Why aren't they using it? We need to do something because now, while we're dealing with missing children and tech predators, the Trump administration is managing 3 massive stories happening literally today. You know, we got the Fed chair announcement. At some point this morning, President Trump's going to announce his pick for the federal chair, which is huge for our economy. The front runner, Kevin Warsh, markets are betting at 94 to 96% that Warsh is getting the job. And the Fed is a Fed critic. He believes the Federal Reserve needs to be what's called a regime change. He wants aggressive interest rate cuts, which will help speed our economy up and get us the money we need to start moving this economy along. Trump wants interest rates cut. This has been a major policy for him. It's been a policy for us because when the rates are cut, people can borrow money. When people can borrow money, we can spend money. We have the economy booming. People want stuff done, right? When people can have access to funds, what happens? We get new roofs. We get, buildings that need to get upgraded and changes. We've got a whole sector of building and subcontractors working again, being able to provide into our economy, being able to hire people, more people, and get more work done. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And what they're doing, this Powell guy has been unnaturally withholding us from getting this country back on track because he's part of a regime that wants to hurt Americans so they can take over our lives. They want our property, folks. These socialists and communists, they want to take over America, but many of you guys are homeowners. They want your property. They want your bank account. Some people see this as taking control of the economy back from the elitist Fed bureaucrats. Some people see it as undermining the Federal Reserve independency. There is no independency in this country, folks. And I'm sick of people presenting it like that. There are 3 branches of government and only 3 branches of government in this country, and none are beholden or independent. Okay? You have the judiciary, you have the legislative, and you have the executive. So anything that government that's running the government has to fall into one of those 3 categories. Nobody is independent. Nobody goes without checks and balances. Nobody is above the president or our Congress. And the Federal Reserve for all too many years thought they were. Well, they are not. But here's what's undeniable. This major power shift is happening in real time. I love it. As Trump is announcing the chair, Congress is racing against the clock to pass a $1 trillion+ spending bill. And I got to tell you, I do not like the spending bill. Okay? We need to fire the Republicans in Congress. We need to fire the Democrats in Congress. They're robbing us blind. They're forcing us to pay for shit we do not agree with, folks. I don't care if you are right, black, left, center, green with yellow polka dots, purple hair, nose piercings, tattoos all over your damn face. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody wants our money going to people that want to blow us up. And that is a fact. So, this would be the second shutdown in weeks, okay? We're not shutting down the government. I found that out. Our president, get over there. Our president has made a deal, from what I'm hearing. But before we hear that, let's go back to the feds, and then we'll talk about the the art of the deal.
Breaking news now. We want to show you President Donald Trump. He's making news on the red carpet of First Lady Melania Trump's documentary premiere. You can see the couple there right now. The president said moments ago that he will announce his new Fed chair tomorrow. The current Fed chair, Jerome Powell's chairmanship, ends in May. Now, the president also answered a number of questions, including one about the funding deal just reached in the Senate.
Couple of days with Senator Schumer. We've gotten along very well. We're working on trying to get it to stay open, and we'll see what happens. It's in the process.
Mr. President, Amazon paid $75 million to make and market this film, which is an exorbitant fee. Many Americans think that this is maybe Jeff Bezos trying to get in good with you, and they would call it an act of corporate corruption. The New York Times.
The New York Times. Fake news, New York Times. I
can tell you it's
I don't know
totally
really.
fake
I'm not
news.
involved in that. That was done with my wife. I think it's going to be. I think it's a very important movie. I think it's really going to be very important. It shows life in the White House. It's a big deal, actually.
Mr. President, what was Tulsi Gabbard doing at an election center in Georgia today?
She's working very hard on trying to keep the election safe, and she's done a very good job. And they, as you know, they got into the votes. You got a signed judge's order in Georgia, and you're going to see some interesting things happening. They've been trying to get there for a long time.
So, as you guys know, there's been a lot of news coming out from the White House related to this election integrity. Everybody's like, well, why is he worried about it now? And you guys know what my answer is. He's been telling you from the very beginning, if you guys open your ears. Didn't you guys see those new hats? What do they say? They say, Trump 2028. He's gonna make a bid for 20. I don't know. This is unprecedented areas that we've been in. We've caught them massively stealing federal funds. We're now got Nicolas Maduro, which was running these horrible elections all over the world and interfering with worldly elections in different countries and installing people that the people did not vote for years. So we went over there and brought his ass back under the guise of this drug trafficking. And then we put him under oath and debriefed him. And so what we found out from Donald Trump is he was debriefed before he even landed in the United States. They had him under oath. They had already interrogated him before we even got him back to the States. So they had a good idea who the major players were of this theft. So now they're taking that information, turning some of that information into real hard evidence, and turning that real hard evidence over to judges to get those subpoenas. What they are going to prove is that the elections of 2020 were stolen. Why is it important? Because the American people need to know. And right now, what we have is we've got them saying, oh, it didn't happen. We've got us saying it did happen. We've got them saying, oh, they're in a cult. They're crazy. Then we had somebody go and pull all these public records. Thank God for public records. And they took all of these videos and put into a movie called 2,000 Mules. And then we realized, oh my gosh, this didn't need to be millions and millions and millions of ballots that were thrown in. It only needed to be 10,000 ballots here, or 5,000 ballots here, or 1,000 ballots here. Because these people were only losing their races or winning their races by the smallest margins we've ever seen. And the reason why it's taking them so long, once upon a time before 2020, we had the results those nights. And then all of a sudden, 2020, and then after 2020, we can't do it anymore in a single night. We need to take a few days. No, you don't. The reason why they're trying to convince us it takes more time to process these ballots is because they need to find out what the numbers are and how much they need to add to them. We never had these problems prior to 2020. Even 2016 didn't go on for days. So what happened? What happened? And so now we've got Nick Maduro over here. He's singing like a bird. And now we're going after the evidence. And so what's going to be proven over the next several years is that the 2020 elections were stolen, and they were stolen in a big way. And what we're going to find out even further is that not only were these elections stolen, but things like Tim Walz is not a legitimate governor. Madamni is not a legitimate mayor. The governor in Virginia is not a legitimate Virginia governor. These people's votes were manipulated, which gave them power. These votes were manipulated by other people around this country, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Venezuela, whether it's people here, right here in our own states, but nobody's stupid enough. They hire people out of the country to do this stuff because it makes it harder for us to get them. But as you see with President Trump, he will go over to the country and rip these people off of their throne and drag their asses right back to the United States to answer for the crimes that they've committed against America. So make no mistake, we have no problem doing that, and everybody here is going to sleep just fine, even with the fake outrage from the left. Let me go over here. I don't think this has, there it is.
The U.S. has been really good, but what could really slow things down would be if they get another damaging government shutdown. And to that end, he has indicated that both Republicans and Democrats will fund most of the government until September. So this could be a signal for a deal. Of course, previously
And that's where we're going next, okay? You guys understand this now. Why? Because I was upset that we are making a deal. I'm saying let people suffer. We're not defunding ICE or whatever. But I know Trump, and I know if Trump's trying to get this economy up, he is going to, if it comes down to, meaningless shit, right? Everybody's got to wear a body camera. I don't think does anybody really have a problem if our federal agents have to be outfitted with body cameras? I don't care, right? I want them to have body cameras on. It upsets me to know that our law enforcement doesn't have body cameras on them. Okay, so that. Now we have to worry about the body cameras. They don't want them being able to mask their faces. So I don't know how that's all going to be. And the other thing, I think the third thing was they have to have proper identification on them. So I don't think that these requests are unreasonable. Like, coming from Chuck Schumer, like I was expecting, we're gonna go take millions of dollars for, and I'm thinking we ain't doing that. If you're defunding, we're not doing that. We're gonna get this stuff done one way or another. We'll get creative, whatever, but we're not doing that. But if they're asking for reasonable stuff like body cameras, no face masks, and proper identification, I don't see that truly is the request. It seems reasonable, okay? I'm not an unreasonable person. So if somebody on the left, like Chuck Schumer, which I can't stand, is willing to be reasonable, obviously we can be reasonable. I think that those requirements are reasonable, right? So I don't have any problem. So if they're doing it this way, are they going to be able to make a package go through? I don't know. And what scares me is what did Donald Trump consider insignificant that he agreed to help them with to get this pushed through? Because I see where it's coming down to. We can't have another shutdown. It's going to be terrible to reboot this economy twice from a shutdown, an intentional government shutdown. So I don't know what leverage they had, and I don't know what the deal looks like. But this is where, when you're a Trump loyalist, you just have to trust the process. And that's where I'm at. Do I feel comfortable with this? It scares the hell out of me because I don't trust Chuck Schumer or the Democrats, honestly. But I trust Trump enough to, at minimum, realize that he's going to do what's best for this country and his agenda. We've already signed on to his agenda. Okay, so at least I have. What I mean by we, I think the MAGA movement has signed on to his agenda, and that's what got him elected. So we have to understand, if we agree with his agenda, we have to trust him to get where he needs to be in his agenda. And we're going to have a lot of uncomfortable moments as we're working with, because this has been, them versus us for a really long time, for almost a decade. So having to try some of this unity stuff, I think, is really scary for a lot of us. So But I'm not opposed to it, because this whole we're not going to work with you crap is not working for the people. I want to fire our federal government. They have lost their way so bad. I don't think they're ever going to find their way back. I want them completely fired. I want the federal government, just like the U.S. Department of Education, I want it to close its doors. When the federal government was originally provided, it was when states didn't have resources, when states were in their infancy. And I do believe that we have common goals that we need federal partners for, but we're not in the same situation that we were in back when our country was created. Back when our country was created, the Fed was this pool of money that could help individual states, because individual states were not developed. I don't know how to explain it, but each state is now running their own state. They have their own money. They have their own benefits aside from the federal government. We only really need federal government for our highways, our FBI and military, and our we don't need them for grants anymore. We don't need them for we need them for like FEMA. We need them for stuff that our states can't do on their own. We do not need the feds for philanthropic type of things. We've got our states for that. We've got our nonprofits. We have the ability to have our own state grants. Why do we need federal grants? Why do we need this aspect of the federal government? The federal government was designed when the states were incapable of taking care of themselves, even though they were sovereign. And so they leaned heavily on the feds for help. Our design is much different. We have balanced budgets across states now. We have millions and trillions of dollars. I mean, hell, my county alone is a $1 billion county budget. That's just Manatee. That's just our little county in this whole big state. So we have money now. We don't need the feds like we once needed the feds, yet the feds are acting like we can't live without them. And it is my position we can. We can. The states will be fine. We don't need the feds. All that money we're sending to the feds could be going to our states to help our states. All we're doing is giving another way for them to layer taxes and pay for government employees, right? It's like the middleman. We need to cut the middleman out. That's what we did with the Department of Education. It's what we need to do in our federal government. Do we need a federal government? Yes, we do. Do we need it as big as it is today? No, we don't. Why? Because our states are fine. Our states are fine. They can take care of themselves. So that's just my position. I know it's not a very popular one, but I think we need to be really considering as a society the chances and possibility of firing our feds, right? Do we need congressmen? Of course, we need them to still, I don't see anything happening with our House members and our Senate members, so to speak. It's just the bureaucracy up there, the cutting of the overhead, right? We're still going to need our Congress because we still need laws passed. We still need infrastructure items. We still have, the Department of Transportation. We still have our military and police needs like the FBI, the Secret Service, the U.S. Marshals. All of those still need to be taken care of and funded and stuff like that. So we do have, I'm not saying we don't have a need for a federal government. We just don't need the federal government like we once did. Our federal government's gotten too big, and it's time for us to start figuring out how to really reduce the size of our federal government. We do need them, but we don't need them to this extent. And that's something we need to get. And that would start pulling a lot of that bullshit spending right up out of those things. When we start making these directives as, the people, Democrats and Republicans, We can really start getting some things done. So I'm not opposed to working with people, you know. I think the Democrats and the Republicans, the mom and pops, all of us normal people, not these talking heads that need to be fired, but all of us normal people, I think we all want to work together. I think we all want to have a functioning lifestyle, and I think everybody wants the American dream. You know, we can't, you guys, we have crazy, you know, right-wing animals in our party. You guys have crazy left-wing animals in your party. So I'm not speaking of the left, the far left and the far right fringe of our party. I'm talking about the mom and pops, the majority of each of other's party. Our representation is not matching our core values, especially on the Democrat side. And what do I mean by that? Well, one thing I can tell you is that there are a lot of very religious, Christian, diehard, godly worshiping Democrats, okay? They go to church every Sunday. They pay their 10% tithe, very dedicated to their faith, very dedicated to their community. Yet they've got people in their party celebrating somebody's assassination. They're celebrating the murder of children. They're celebrating the murder in the womb. They're talking about having babies just to unalive them. You're running your party away from you because there are I can tell you this because I know a lot of people in my community are Democrats, and they show up to church every Sunday. They have life insurance. They care about their family. You know, they love their grandchildren. They ain't down with all of this bullcrap. Okay? I'm sorry. Things that have been told to me, and you can believe it or not believe it, it is what it is that they are just tired, that their party no longer represents them, but they are so loyal to their party because it reminds them of their grandparents. It reminds them, you know, they have a lot of loyalty to their family and the way, and their family's traditions. And a lot of people's family's traditions, believe it or not, is being Democrat. It's a badge of honor for them. But the Democrat Party and what their ideology and what they once were is not who they are today. There's something evil infiltrated the Democrat Party. I don't know when it happened. I don't know why. I mean, we all used to fight, over policy before, but this is much different than stuff that we've seen before. You're talking about them being violent, wanting to unalive us because we went out to the voting box and we made the decision for this country and they don't like it, so they want us dead. These are people that are American citizens in our own country that want us to see us dead because we don't believe the way they believe. And then they have the audacity to call us cult members. We're not calling for the death of anybody. I can guarantee you I am not a cult member, but I've seen a lot of cult members and they look like Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And people may say, I can't believe you. I can say whatever the hell I want on this show. Do you guys notice? It says Bullhorn Betty on it. So we talk about the truth, not about people's feelings or emotions. And the bottom line is that we have been ripped from inside out, and these have been bought and paid for because people are going to do whatever they get paid to do. Why? Because look at our economy, right? It's hard to make it this day and age. And if you got somebody that's out there that's saying, I'll pay you $20 or $30 an hour to make noise outside of a hotel in the cold, maybe $40 an hour, are you going to turn that down? No, you're not going to turn that down. Because in this society, it's hard to put bread on the table. And so all of these people are being paid to do this because they've got no other job prospects that's paying them to do anything else. Where are they getting the money? Well, guys, you paid for this. Those people out in front of that hotel, those people throwing rocks and bricks and spitting on our officers, you're paying for that. It was your taxpayer money that paid for that and is paying for this. And not only are you paying for all the stuff you're seeing around this country, you guys paid for all of this unrest all over this world. That came came from our pocketbook. That was our taxpayer money that did all this. So you want to know who did this? Whether you know it or not, you did. I did. We did. We did this. This is our taxpayer money. And this was done because of our politicians that we allegedly hired. I don't think we did. I think the people that are doing this were installed in their positions by these fraudulent voting machines that were switching votes. We know for a fact it was happening. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We know for a fact. It's not hyperbole. It's not a conspiracy theory. We know Venezuela was changing our votes here in America. They were having backdoors built, and many people were changing them from say, Saudi Arabia through a hub in Denver. We also heard that in Fulton, the reason why they went and grabbed Fulton is because there were people that just came in, plugged a thumb drive into the machines that were never supposed to be touched once they started, and walked away. That's what happened. That's why they're going after Fulton. Because we caught them cheating. We caught this one lady rerunning ballots, the same stack of ballots over and over and over and over again to run up the count after they fraudulently shut the building down because of this alleged main break, which never happened. We have video from inside there, not one drop of water. So they lied to the people to kick them out of the building to cheat. And they were caught on camera doing this cheat. They were caught on camera pulling these boxes out from under their tables and just running them through during the time that this building was shut down, and these people were all removed out of the building. And then during the vote, they plugged in while people were there, the machines. People came in with thumb drives, plugged the thumb drives into all of these machines, didn't say a word to the people, and then walked out. So there is absolutely proof that these, no matter this whole thing about, oh, this is absurd. No, it's not. There are a lot of things I run on my channel. There are a lot of opinions that I have, and I tell you guys there are opinions. These are not opinions. These are straight facts. They're provable facts. Happy Cappy. You tell it all, Betty. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what movie these kids are watching with cloning in it, but they have to keep saying trust, get a clone of him and put him in a room so he can be the boss because you're always say Trump would. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you're being funny or not. This is crazy time to live. It is. We're definitely living in a very uncomfortable time in this country. There's absolutely no doubt to that. So let's kind of go over just a little bit and listen to, this is a live from Newsmax here. I think this is Tom Homan. Yeah, here. I want you guys to hear this because I think it's important. So if you guys don't know, Greg Bovino, which was the chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, was reassigned back to the border as a chief. And Tom Homan, because, you know, you got Schumer threatening a shutdown. We're trying to get the economy back up. Having another shutdown is going to cause problem. So we need to figure out what we can do. We don't want anybody dead, of course. You know, I'm just saying, I'll sleep just fine whether you're dead or alive. If I don't know you and you're not my family, not that your family would probably be up, you know, pacing the ground. But us out here, I just like to paint a realistic view. If you're going out there and fighting with law enforcement officers and you get shot, people like me are not going to cry. We're going to say you're a dumbass, okay? We're not going to cry. Moreover, we're going to sleep like a baby. And I like people to know that because I want them to understand nobody gives a shit about you. The only people that give a shit about you is your family. And the reason why I want them to know that, because they're not doing anything for anyone. They're making themselves feel more superior than they feel. right? This is a superiority complex from all these people out in the streets. They want to feel important. They want to feel like they're doing something right, even though they're doing a lot of wrong things and they're getting themselves killed as a result of it. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. So we're not going to be sympathetic to stupid people. Okay, if you go out there and you want to get hard with an officer and you lose your life, that's your stupidity. Okay, don't expect people to give a shit. I don't care. Okay, I don't want you to do that to yourself. I will pray for you, but in the grand scheme of things, my life goes on. I didn't lose any sleep. I didn't cry a tear, and many Americans across this country didn't either. It was a waste of your life. Don't waste your life. That's the message.
Fry and said they agreed on the need for an ongoing dialogue. Homeland said ICE and CBP are working on a drawdown plan.
ICE and CBP officers are performing their duties in a challenging environment. They're trying to do it with professionalism. If they don't, they'll be dealt with. Like any other federal agency, we have standards of conduct.
Yeah, they'll be dealt with. And I believe Tom Homan. Now, there's one thing about Tom Homan that I like about him. One, he's one in a few. He has been able to work on both administrations, and his only goal is he doesn't care about his personal opinion. He only cares about the mission. Okay? He doesn't care if you're a Democrat, Republican. If you're his boss, he's going to do whatever you ask him to do. Okay? That's his job. And so he does that job respectfully. I have the utmost respect for Tom Homan. You want to know why? It's because he's not a snake. He can work for multiple administrations, Republicans and Democrats, and not turn into a snake. That is very difficult. And when you find somebody that can do that, you honor and respect that. And I think that's why so many people respect Tom Homan. He is, I wouldn't mess with him. He's tough. He is a tough dog. But I also believe he's fair. And he's diplomatic, but he's diplomatic from strength. That means he'll put it down. He's not gonna back away. He's not gonna back off his mission. He's gonna put it down and make you understand that you need to get on board with this. And I think that's what he did. I think he might have threatened them with criminal charges, honestly.
And Border Czar Tom Homan addressed what he called the organization and funding against ICE. He said he's not going to reveal his hand, but that justice is coming. In the Twin Cities, Matt Finn, Fox News.
And we want to bring you more of that speech from Border Czar Tom Homan as he takes over those operations there in Minneapolis. This is from earlier this morning. Let's listen in.
Too early, isn't it?
They haven't had a 6 a.m. Betty show.
I've been given talking points, and I don't like reading speeches, never have. But my chief of staff did put some stuff down here in writing just to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm going to be reading a little bit, then we're going to open up for questions. I've been on the ground less than 3 full days. I got in here Monday. President of the United States called me Monday morning and asked me to deploy here. Got here Monday evening. And I'm staying till the problem's gone. But we've made a lot of progress.
That means he's running the show. He's not leaving until the problem's solved, he just said. Yeah, he's a stand-up man. He is. He's a good man. He's a good man. He loves America. And sometimes you know, when you honor your position, even if you don't like the orders you're given, you do your orders exponentially. You do it, and you do it beyond expectation. And I think that's what has gotten Tom Homan the respect he deserves from everybody. Nobody's going to mess with Tom. I can tell you that. Nobody's going to mess with this man.
In the last 3 days.
But I tell you what, he gets what he wants. I'm not going to lie. This man gets what he wants, okay? He gets what he wants because he's not a self-serving person.
Marcos Charles, he's running ICE operations here. There you go. Rodney Scott, Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, standing here beside me. Good morning, I'm Tom Homan, the Border Czar for President Trump. I'm here on behalf of the President, along with U.S. Commissioners Commissioner for U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Rodney Scott, and Marcos Charles, who's leading the enforcement effort here right now. I've been on the ground since Monday to regain law and order in the city beloved by many, and work together to remove threats from the community.
To remove threats from the community. Now, what he's going to say is he's going to go on to express he met with Governor Walz, Mayor Fry. They are now going to be calling them with people to pick up from the jails. So he made great progress. Hey, Sorta Mortar, it's nice to see you. Life Interrupted, Patty Lee, it's nice to see you guys. So he made progress, and they're going to start working with. I know Mayor Fry's trying to act like a hard ass. He's going to do whatever he's going to do. I really don't care about him. The man, he's lost his shit. I think that Jacob Fry is actually on substances. There's something not right with him. I think he needs a drug test. But either way, this man right here put his foot down, and he's not going to say he put his foot down. He doesn't want to put anybody under the bus because he's not there for that. He's not there for the back and forth. He's there for a job, to get a job done, and the job is to get these bad guys off the road. And he has every right to enforce federal law, and nobody can obstruct him from enforcing the federal law. Furthermore, if you want to change federal law, if the Congress does not like the federal law that they have all the ability in the world. That is in their wheelhouse. Okay, it's not in law enforcement's wheelhouse to be selective on which laws they enforce and which ones they don't. That's against the law. So the only way they cannot enforce these laws is when Congress makes them non-criminal laws, right? When they go in there and say, no, we're going to pass open border policies at the Congress level, well, then it shuts all of this down. But even though the Democrats have had both the House, Senate, and presidency, they never did anything with the immigration. As a matter of fact, their people deported over 1 million people, or close 960,000. We're only up to like 300,000 or 600,000 deportations. I think it's like 350,000 deportations at the moment because 2 million people self-deported. So if we haven't even come close to what Obama's deported, why are we having such madness all over the streets? Because only in Minnesota are they forcing these officers into terrible situations that are putting their lives in jeopardy, and they're not supporting them or helping make sure that their lives are not in jeopardy from a law enforcement level on the ground. So they're having to bring in more federal agents to make sure that they can protect themselves while they do these immigration enforcements, because Minnesota knows that they incited their residents so much that now all they want to do is rip those agents from limb to limb, and then they send them out there without any policing. Tim Walz should be in prison. Mayor Jacob Fry should be in prison. But again, they're politicians, so again, they can do whatever the hell they want. They could murder somebody. And I guarantee our government wouldn't do anything because we got frickin' Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi is a piece of shit. She no longer has my support.
Canada and Australia as it moved to designate Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terror organization.
Europe needs to talk to the Kremlin if it wants a solution to Russia's war in Ukraine, Luxembourg's Deputy Prime Minister told Euronews.
US President Donald Trump's border czar Tom Homan vowed to restore, quote, law and order in Minneapolis.
And I believe he will. So now we're getting back on track. Are we getting back on track with, this is not it. What cases are we going to now? A 2-year-old. Okay. Because we had a child missing. The child has been located. The parents have been located. We've got this. I think we've gotten everything that we're going to do. Let me just see what else notes I've got here. I think we're about done with the show and all the talking points that I have, but let me go through my notes real quick and make sure I didn't miss anything about what we're coming up too. But you guys know where I stand on the majority of this. And of course, you know, we support Trump's administration. We support border security. We support the immigration enforcement. We are America first, but we also support the rule of law. We support accountability when federal agents cross the line. I don't know if the federal agents crossed the line. I know it's a talking point. I would like to see the reports because I don't trust the Democrats. I don't trust the people out there in the streets because they have put these law enforcement. We watch day after day them putting these law enforcement officers in jeopardy of their life, and our officers have showed great restraint. And when things start popping off and you bring a loaded gun and still want to resist, I think anybody has a right to put you down. Okay, you're being a threatening person. So, and he was not unknown to these federal agents. He was in violent and in part of violent protests in the past. So again, you know, much like Renee Good, we found out that he is a domestic terrorist, and his mommy and daddy are going to have to deal with that. The world's going to have to deal with that. If you don't want domestic terrorists, quit creating them. It's just that simple. So the official narrative from DHS is she attempted, this is with Renee Good. I'm not going to go through all of that. We've already went through that. And then of course we went through Alec. I'm not getting into Alec because there's no point in getting into Alec. So let me tell you what's happening right now, this moment. Organizers in all 50 states are calling for a nationwide shutdown. Okay, we've got no work, no shopping, no stuff, whatever, because of all these things going on in Minnesota. Whoever's participating, let me just be very clear, you're fucking idiots. Because you're not going to be able not to spend money, right? You breathe, you spend money. You drive down the road, you spend money. You go get a candy bar or go get lunch, you spend money, okay? There's nothing you can do in this world without spending money. So if you're trying to do some virtuous thing that's going to hurt somebody, you're just an idiot. That's why I say you're a fucking idiot. You can't make this stuff up. Here's the truth. A nationwide economic shutdown doesn't solve anything. It hurts you. It hurts you more than it hurts anybody else. So I just want to say again, you're stupid. You can't make this stuff up. It hurts the parents that can't take their children to school. It hurts business owners who are struggling to keep their businesses open, and it hurts federal workers that need their paycheck. Good gracious, you can't fix stupidity in this country. Celebrities are promoting it. Edward Norton, Jamie Lee Curtis, Pedro Pascal. One thing that they all have in common is they've robbed the American people blind through their NGOs, living their lofty lifestyles for decades. And they want to tell us what we can and can't do when they've never put one pocket in our one cent in our pocket. They've only taken money out of it. But hey, listen to them. They're the way. They're using their platforms to encourage Americans to disrupt the economy. Meanwhile, they have security. They have money. They aren't affected by the economy. Well, they're about to be affected by the economy because we shut their purses down too. So we are defunding. MAGA is in the process right now of defunding Hollywood. That's what we're doing. If you guys didn't know what's been going on for the last decade, we've been defunding Hollywood. We're forcing them to going up on those little things. We're going to be closing down the movie theater soon if they can't give us good content, good wholesome content that isn't littered with this woke bullshit. If you're going to keep giving us content that's littered with woke bullshit, we're going to keep sitting out. We are going to bankrupt Hollywood. We're doing a damn good job of it so far. Hollywood's shutting down. Okay? And it's been a lot of work. It's not specifically me. It's the group. It's all of you. How many of you guys have found a movie that's worth going to watch in a movie theater? None of you guys have. Because it's shit. It's garbage. We're not paying to watch that crap. We'll let the left prop them up, right? Because the left is on the tit of the feds. We're shutting that down too. We are defunding you. We're defunding everybody that's been fraudulent. We're going to continue to do it long after Donald Trump's out of office. So, timing is suspicious. The strike is coordinated to coincide with government funding deadlines. It's designed to pressure Congress to strip DHS funding. It's political theater. It's political theater, bought and paid for, and dressed up like a moral protest. None of these people have a moral compass in their body. Remember, they want to kill the babies and save the puppies. We have sympathy for families of victims. We have support for full investigations. We have called for accountability from federal agents who overstep the line. But we also have clarity that shutting down an economy is not the answer. It's partisanship, it's activism, but it's harmful to the people that they claim to help. And that is the bottom line, and we all know it. This shutdown is not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt most of you. The people it's going to hurt is the most vulnerable. It's the moms, it's the babies, it's the children. If you're a working parent listening to this, a small business owner, a federal worker, or just somebody trying to get through the day, you're not alone. There's a movement happening that doesn't care about your disruption or the disruption in your life or to your family. Remember that when you vote. Remember that when you decide to consume media, whether it may be mainstream media or social media. Remember that when you decide what you teach your children about justice and activism. Real change comes through the law. Real justice comes through the court. Real protection comes through policy and enforcement, which requires a functioning government. Right now, we have no functioning government. So we wrap up this episode. Let me take a step back and acknowledge what today represents in America. We have a missing 15-year-old boy whose name's Thomas Medlin. It appears he has committed self-harm. His family is devastated. His mother, Eva, is searching every day for answers. The platform that connected him to whoever he went to meet is still operating, but we're learning may not be crucial in this case. However, that disgusting platform is still collecting money and still not doing anything to protect children on said platform. We have 80 lawsuits against Roblox, 30 arrests of predators, 35 million children logging on every day, and a corporate leadership that chooses profit over protection. We have federal agents in Minneapolis asking serious questions about accountability, use of force, and other things. We have ongoing investigations and families grieving. We have Congress racing against the clock to pass government spending bills. We have a Trump administration announcing a new federal chair. We have a nationwide economic shutdown being organized to pressure the government. It sounds like we may have a deal on that front. This is a lot. This is heavy. This is the kind of news cycle that leaves you feeling helpless. But I want to remind you, you are not helpless. You have agency, you have voice, and you have choices. Here's what you can do. 1, share the story of Thomas Medlin. Make sure you talk to your own children about depression. Sad that we have to talk about children about depression. But talk to your children about depression, bullying, and other social strains that they may have in school and with other people. Start opening up that line of communication so you can know where your child's at every given day. If you're on social media, post a story, post photos. If someone knows something, please come forward. If you see something, please come forward. Have a conversation with your children about online safety. Not a fear-based way, in a protective way. Let them know that they can come to you if something feels wrong online, know what apps they're using, and establish healthy boundaries. Demand accountability from big tech. Contact your representatives. Demand legislation. Vote with your pocketbook. Don't let your children use the platforms that don't prioritize their safety over profits, much like Roblox. 4, follow the investigation happening in Minneapolis. Stay informed, ask hard questions, expect transparency from federal agencies. And if they don't provide it, make them provide it. 5, support your local law enforcement and child protective services. There are people doing actual work to keep your children safe. And I know that a lot of these things we don't like child protective services. They have failed our children in the past, but it's our responsibility to make sure that they don't. Fund them, stand with them, make changes that they need changed so they can help children survive this difficult lifestyle. 6, pray, seriously. We live in spiritually dark times. There are real predators, real evil, real threats to our children. Prayer is warfare. Pray for protection over children here in America, over the Americans that reside here, and the people that need to enforce those laws. Praise for wisdom for parents. Pray for accountability from those in powers. Pray for justice. Pray for justice. We ask that Thomas be brought home. We pray to God that he's safe, but we know all too often when we hear the details we learned today, it gives us a very grim outlook on what may have happened to this young man. We ask for protection over every child in America. We ask that you dismantle the predatory networks that hunt them. We ask that you bring justice to every predator. We ask that you expose the corporate leaders who choose money over safety. We ask for accountability from those in authority. We ask federal agents who cross the line for justice, or face justice rather. And then we ask you to guide and our people to guide our leaders with wisdom and justice. So we're asking for unity, not ideology, but in protection of children, that Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, and progressives can at least agree children deserve to be safe. Thank you for Operation Operation Shine the Light. We thank them for the communities that they have come together. We thank the people that are dedicated to bringing children home. We've asked that you give the courage to act, that you are given the courage to act, not only to be outraged, but to do something, to make calls, to share information, to demand change, to protect the vulnerable. We pray for all of these things. So I just want to thank you all for being here. I know you guys could have been anywhere this very cold morning. We're starting a little bit earlier in the morning, but I do appreciate you all being here. And I ask that you subscribe, you like, and more importantly, you share these information and these updates to people in your community or out and about. We care about truth and justice, but more importantly, we care about protecting America's future. So guys, thank you for letting me be in your ear this morning. I hope you guys are learning a lot from this new design we have for this channel, but I feel like we're more encompassing, we're more breaking news related than any other thing. And I want to start building on this momentum. I know that it's caused a little bit of disruption on our channel, and I really don't care because it has to be something. If you want me to show up every day, it's got to be something I'm passionate about. And the one thing I'm passionate about is law and order. The other thing I'm passionate about is our politics. And when those get an opportunity to collide, I'm jumping on board. But what we're dealing right now is historic in nature. And I'm going to always prioritize historical information, whether it abodes with our makeup of our channel over and above true crime conversation or talking points, because historical information and information that you guys need to know trumps everything. It trumps entertainment, right? We're living in scary times, and when I get nervous and I'm reading this stuff every day, I know that you guys are too. So I know I'm a conservative. I usually keep some of that, I keep it more of a neutral based show. But again, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I'm sorry, there's a line in the sand that came with that. And that line in the sand is I cannot sit here and have people in my chat that celebrated a man's death. when we're true crime. And when I realized how many people were happy he was dead that came here and fight for all these children, I wanted to make sure that I treated them like they were the plague. Because that is not what this channel represents, and that's not who this channel is. And if we have to lose people to get the right people on this channel, by God, that's what we're going to do. And we'll weather the storm. You know why? Because we do the right thing, because it's the right thing to do. And I've always learned if you do that, things will work themselves out. I don't do it perfectly, right? I don't do this life thing perfectly. I don't expect everybody else to do it perfectly either. But you know what I do? I do it because I love this country. I give of myself. I go sit 14 hours in a room that doesn't even matter whether I'm there or not. And I do it for thy neighbor. I do it because I have the ability to do it. And if I can make a difference in this shitty ass world, by God, that's what I'm going to do. So guys, I hope that you are inspired to go out and get involved in your own community. You don't have to be involved in politics, right? You can be involved in a variety of ways. You can go help soup kitchens. You can go help your animal welfare. You can literally go plug yourself in anywhere. If it's not arguing about your roads and stuff like that and land use matters, if that doesn't inspire you, what does? Homeless vets, animal welfare, historical, preservation, land preservation. There are so many different things you can get involved in your county for things that you like. Do you value the environment? Do you value the libraries? People like me are trying to rip the libraries out. This might be one of those things where you absolutely love libraries and you want to keep the brick and mortars. This might be something where you can go in there and make sure that you keep libraries safe from big, mean, anti-library Bettys, right? There's so much you guys can do. But the thing that I'd like to inspire the most is helping somebody that you don't know, helping somebody else. Right? If you've got something, somebody doesn't have anything. Even if you can give a person a smile, that's making a difference in some stranger's life. And while it's a thankless job, I will promise you that. You guys see me come in here so dog tired. I very rarely get a thanks for the work I do. I get the calls when people need help. But it's very, very rare that we get the thank you. You know what the thank you is? It's seeing the smiling faces of somebody you helped. That's the rewarding part of my job. It's not the thank yous that I get. Trust me, there's not one commissioner that ever calls me and says, "Oh, Betty, I just want to say thank you for making my job 10 times harder. Thank you for keeping me accountable." Politicians do not say that to Bullhorn Betty, okay? I'm just letting you know. I know you guys probably think that, because we're from the South, we got that Southern values. Yeah, that the Southern values that my commissioners tell me is about the same Southern values that I tell my commissioners. We use sign language. Just saying, not playing.
You are fake news.
All right, we've been around long enough, guys. Thank you for allowing me to bend your ear. I know we had a longer live than we normally do, but we had 2 breaking news cases right in the middle of my show that we had to kind of reroute and work around. But I think we did it pretty good. Guys, don't forget to share this around. We'll be back later this afternoon. We're going to have a show on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. It's going to be this afternoon, but I'm not going to tell you when it is. I'm just going to pop up and be ready to go. So if you guys have not switched me over to subscribe and the all bell, you will miss the old bets, okay? And I know you guys love the bets. Some of you guys love the bets. Some of you guys just watch me to see if I'm going to hit that proverbial concrete block wall. Well, if you notice, I stay away from those walls. If you notice anything about me, I go around them, over them, or under them. But I very rarely smack into them. So come back tomorrow. Maybe you might see me do it, maybe not. All right, guys, we are out. Boom. You guys are now officially ready ready to enjoy your weekend. Now, except for those that are at work that are listening to me, that their bosses don't know that they have Bullhorn Betty in their ears. For you guys, you're going to have to wait until you get off work. But we believe you're going to be off work. And when you do, you're going to be sliding out of work and saying, oh, let my weekend begin. So you guys have a great evening or a great day. We'll see you later this evening.